Welcome to Genetic Obesity. I'd like to start with explaining what genetic obesity is. Well, basically obesity means fat, so it has something to do with fatness and genes. In this presentation we would like to tell about genetic obesity and why it is a problem staring Oliver, and information about the genes and how many genes there are, and more staring Nicolaj.
Okay, so here's the deal. Obesity is a giant problem, and some even would dare call it a pandemic. And it's even growing. More and more people every year get obese. Even like 3 years ago, about 64% of everyone in the UK were obese. In America, it's even worse. And why? Why is it such a big problem? Why does everybody care, really? Can't we just be fat and not give a damn about that? Well, the deal is, obesity makes more obesity. Obese people are bound to wind up, teaching children and others bad habits, which will make them obese as well. And on top of that, obesity isn't just obesity. Obesity brings millions and millions and millions of other things with it. Obesity brings other diseases to you. Mainly, it brings you type 2 diabetes, but it can also bring you cancer and other diseases. And the thing is, most people tend to see obesity as a lifestyle disease, a lifestyle problem. Only lifestyle can really cause you to become fat. The deal is, that's not true at all. Genetics have a huge say in whether you are going to be fat or not, and whether you're going to stack up tons and tons of energy within you, which will all just turn into fat along the way when you don't move around enough, when you don't use that energy. The thing is that our genes are made to make us better survivors, are made to make us capable of surviving long enough to procreate. And about that, it is only in recent years that we actually have had the possibility of getting enough food for everyone. And now we're actually having too much food for pretty much everyone, in the Western world at least, while it will be less likely that it'll be a problem in, African countries and Southern American countries, um, that you will have too much food. But our genes, due to the fact that they're made to keep us alive, they have been made to make us be able, be capable of surviving in long periods of time without having energy. So therefore, they have actually been giving us ancestral urges to get more food. And these urges make us eat more fatty foods, which are in their very nature not quite as healthy as other foods, which are less fatty. And well, on top of that, there are also parts of these genes which have been made to make us capable, I mean, of stocking up plenty of energy within us in order to survive for long periods of time off of just a couple of meals, which then have been very big.
Over 75 genes or gene groups which have an effect on obesity have been identified so far. These have a powerful effect on our eating habits and how easily we store fat. For example, researchers at Boston Children's Hospital studying mice found a rare genetic mutation that prevented the animals from burning off fat calories. They also found the same gene was mutated in a group of obese people. In the mouse study, the research team determined that the mutations in the MRAP2 gene led the animals to eat less initially, but still gain about twice as much weight as they normally would. While the appetites returned, these mice continued to gain weight, despite being fed the same number of calories as a group of control animals. That led the scientists to figure out that the mice with the mutated gene were simply sequestering fat rather than breaking it down for energy. These mice, like people, possess 2 copies of the gene, and mice with even one defective copy experience significant weight gain. Also, not as much as the ones who had 2 versions of the MRAP2 gene. The scientists found a similar pattern among 500 obese people. They detected 4 mutations in the human version of the MRAP2 gene, and each of the obese individuals possessed only one bad version of the gene. Although this mutation is quite rare, there are many other genes which also contribute to obesity. For example, the FTU gene increases a person's likelihood to become obese by up to 50%. Of course, we can't blame all obesity in the world on bad or outdated genes, but they certainly do contribute. A person with the mutated MRP2 gene or the FTU gene can still live a perfectly normal and healthy life. It just requires a strict diet and a lot of self-control. But of course, that is easier said than done in a world where fast food is so easily accessible.
Here we have some links we used to gather information about the subject.